Probably will
Fun
look in
fact,
the eye.
a lot of people in the Middle East have had more than 7 years of butt sex because...
Butt sex?
hmm Because, let me explain.
Hey, listen!
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Cheers to that, because this is something that we truly enjoy, and it's crazy because I think the pandemic brought this out of us.
I think so.
If it wasn't for the pandemic, we wouldn't be sitting in a chair dressed like we were about to go to a fucking club and talk about life. But in this specific episode, we're going to talk about 2020. And since it's New Year's, we're going to talk about some of the things like New Year resolution shit for 2021.
Yes. In case you guys didn't know, they have it in every movie, but when you cheers, you're supposed to make eye contact. Otherwise, you'll have 7 years of butt sex. But who hasn't, right?
Butt sex?
Bad sex.
I thought you said you have
butt
7
sex.
years of butt sex. I was like,
Fun fact.
if that's the case, I probably will
Fun
look
fact.
in the eye.
A lot of people in the Middle East have had more than 7 years of butt sex because...
Butt sex?
Because, let me explain. In the Middle East, it's really important for the girl to be a virgin when you get married. And by virgin, they mean like her vagina's never been touched with it. By virgin, I mean she's never had sex through her vagina. So what I hear from a lot of my guy friends is that the girls will allow them to have butt sex. So imagine for the first time you meet a girl and she's like, me in the ass.
I
Anyway.
can't do. Hold on. This is a very interesting topic you brought up.
It's kind of like they found a loophole in the rule. So the girl could have a lot of anal sex, which is pretty uncommon in other countries that are very sexually open. But that's a very common thing in the Middle East, because then when the girl gets married to her husband and the first time they have sex through the vagina, she bleeds, proving her virginity and proving the honor of her family.
But what if the husband likes to? What if he likes butt sex and he puts up the ass?
I mean, that's
That
fine.
shit is-
It's not like your ass bleeds the first time you have sex, does it? I don't know. I wouldn't know. I've never done it, so.
Well, it doesn't have to necessarily bleed, but it hurts. If the girl...
I'm sure she can pretend.
Mm-hmm,
She'll be like,
If the dick slides in smooth, she's not a virgin. I'm sorry. All right, let's jump back
Okay.
to the what we really want to talk about, because
The
this
issue-
butt sex is getting too explicit.
How was the year 2020? Okay, I'm gonna
Can I
say
put it in
something.
one word?
I'm gonna just say something. I'm so sick of hearing people saying like 2020 is the shittiest year ever. Like you've never had anything bad happen to you in any other year. Like, I'm sorry, I've had a lot worse things happen to me in other years. Am I the only one?
You might be.
It's
You
just,
might be.
it's a shitty year, I agree, but maybe as an introvert, 2020 kind of fulfilled a lot of my dreams.
I think the passing of my dad made this year one of the shittiest fucking years.
Yeah, and I know that was really hard for you. And I think that's one of the hardest thing anyone could ever go through. And I think that's kind of why I'm talking about the pandemic. Because a lot of people say that 2020 was the worst year, but really nothing happened to them directly as people. A lot of people are still finding ways to go out. People who are very passionate about going out and partying and all of that stuff, they're still doing it. People who really love travel, they go to the countries that have their borders open. A lot of these things are still kind of available. So I feel like when you say that that's why it was the shittiest year for you, that makes complete sense. But to me personally, like, I feel like if you haven't lost your job, if you haven't, you know, I'm not saying that you can't be saying that it was a bad year. It was a bad year for everyone. Obviously, a lot of things changed. Everyone was locked up in their homes, you know. But I feel like people have a lot bigger tragedies that people don't understand, that it can be a lot worse than what it is. It really can be. Like, we can have a world where we're not on lockdown and people are going to work and everything is open and people are dying even left and right, even more.
Just to stop you, let's think, since you mentioned it, what are some other things that could have happened that are more tragic? Like, I can name you a few, then you can add to it if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Divorce is one.
Divorce. Like, obviously someone in your family dying. Losing your job, losing your home, losing your mind. I know that sounds crazy. Getting sick with something other than... People assume that the corona was the only disease that ever existed. This has been going on for years, and there's a lot of other diseases that happen.
I mean, these are good points. You made very good points. But here's the problem. Corona sort of put an umbrella over all these things you just mentioned. Divorce rate to some degree went up. I don't really agree with that shit. Financial instability.
It's actually true. You know why? Because a lot of couples in the day-to-day are so, especially people who have been together for a really long time, they distract themselves from how bad their marriage is by going to work, seeing their friends, doing all these outside activities. And now the pandemic has forced them to face each other. So I think this year for couples, it was either the year where they learned how to finally work on their problems, or the year they realized, you know what, I'd rather be alone in a pandemic than
right.
And don't get me wrong, it puts a lot of pressure on relationships. It's very hard to be in someone's face every day, all day, non-stop.
True, I agree. 100%. Now,
not this way.
So that's one thing. Another thing was, when it comes to finances, it created financial instability among families because some of them lost, a large majority of them lost their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's like a make it or break type of deal. Like,
so
let me don't cut me off. I have to tell her because she keeps cutting me off, and then I lose track of my thoughts. I didn't mean to be rude.
This convo is way too long.
Please don't cut me off.
Cut it.
You keep cutting me off, and
okay, tell
lose
me.
train of my thought.
No, you were onto a good point. Go.
What was I saying? Financial instability. What happens is, when it comes to money is in discussion almost every day. Whether you want to agree to that or disagree,
Mm-hmm.
that's a thing that's brought up almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And when you see that that's being directly impacted by the pandemic, it causes a lot of turbulence in all other areas of your relationship. Do you
I
agree?
100% agree.
So that's what it caused. It caused financial turbulence among families. Now, my third point before I forget, we mentioned divorce, financial instability, um, and then there is loss. For those families that actually did lose a family member to corona, that's big. It's not. It's, see, I see that as a. I'm directly in it. I see cases. I see deaths. I see numbers going up. I see deaths, and then that being counted as a number in Google on that fucking site. What's it called?
World meter.
World Meter. I see that. That happens.
That was weird.
That was weird. So when you have a family member, right, and you're on a Zoom call with them and telling them, hey, your family member is dying because of corona. Do you want us to continue with the CPR and continue doing these excessive things to keep him alive? And we know that they're not going to make it despite us doing all these nursing or doctor interventions to keep him alive.
Mm-hmm.
They're on the Zoom call with us. And they're like, please do everything. That's my mom. That's my dad.
Of course.
That's my brother.
I have a coworker that's in that same boat. I think my point is not that this year is not the worst for that. I think what pisses me off is people who are not in that boat, haven't lost their jobs, haven't lost anyone close to them, haven't dealt with any of it. They're just like, this is the worst year ever because I can't travel, because I can't go out and party, because I can't go out to eat, because I can't see my friends. Those are all valid points, and I do understand that does suck, and you do have the right to be sad, but they don't really understand the alternative to that. Is it could get so bad, like it could be worse, like it really can. The reason why the pandemic is so hard on people, in my opinion, is because a lot of people have not learned to sit with themselves and really listen to what they actually want to do. This whole time they were using social pressure, peer pressure, all these external things to try to get validation from other people, and the pandemic took away everything. It doesn't matter how good looking you are, how funny you are, how well dressed you are, how rich you are. What matters is when you're sitting in your living room by yourself, how happy are you? And at the end of the day, that comes from within. If you can't stand your own company, you're gonna suffer. And this pandemic teaches you to work with yourself until you figure out how to enjoy your own company. This year just puts a lot of things into perspective. People say that a lot, but I really just feel like I'm trying not to judge here, but
You're judging.
if you haven't learned anything about yourself this year, you wasted this year. In my personal opinion. I think this year was the biggest growth year for me. It's literally like someone put you in a box and was like, figure yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. You know? But
yeah, and most importantly, what it did, this is me speaking on behalf of myself, it literally just like buffered all these distractions.
that's what I'm saying.
Like, it literally just like made you more focused as to who you are, where you want to go, and what have you been missing out. You know, it refocuses life for you. It gives you a different vision.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you appreciate things. I said this earlier, but it makes you appreciate objects. It makes you appreciate people. It's like, damn, I should have been nice to Susie. or Susan or Catherine or Blair. These crazy ass names I'm throwing.
Okay,
No.
let's like get on like a
Let's
more
get
positive
on
note.
like an upbeat. Yeah. Let's.
Okay, tell me your 3 best things that happened to you this year.
That's a tough
I
question.
can think of them.
I knew you were gonna say meeting me. That's on top of your list, right?
I don't know. I'm letting you choose.
3 things that I liked about the pandemic. You know why you asked that question?
Why?
Because if I don't say anything about you, I'm gonna get a beating.
You're not gonna get a beating.
You know that. You're gonna beat the fuck out of me. So I have to say this.
No, you don't have to.
No, I don't have to. I want to say this. I want to say that number 1 thing that happened to me that I find positive in 2020 was the fact that I met you. And I say it with a genuine feeling. And you know it's genuine when I keep eye contact.
Okay.
Okay? I got to know myself better. Easy.
Wow. Okay.
I think I realized that I've become more patient. Yeah. I think
Interesting.
Corona, the pandemic, instilled some patience in me. It helped me grow in a sense that I can now tolerate things better.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the fact that there's more hand sanitizers in the world. And that comes from a germaphobe. That's a
You're
fact.
the biggest germaphobe.
Exactly. The fact that people are now using more hand sanitizer is a plus. What are some 3 things that you find positive in 2020?
Okay. To be honest, I don't know why, but there's something about this year that I really love. And for me, number 1 thing is I was really able to have the time to work on things that I really enjoy, such as starting my own business, working on this podcast, anything I ever really considered before, I at least touched. So I really love that. And part of that was because of work from home, which is something I really believe is important.
Number 1. Number 2.
Number 2 is
Say it.
number 2 is
There you go.
I'm scared.
There she goes. She's about to be emotional, guys. Just FYI. This is our 2nd attempt. God damn it. Come on, you can do this, baby. Number 2. I can't. What are you gonna say? You like puppies? What is it? You gonna say you love sunsets?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, number 2. Get
Does
yourself.
it look like I cry?
No. It's like you can cry from happiness too.
Okay.
It's a cry of joy.
So number 2 is meeting my boyfriend. My 3rd positive thing, I feel like, is doesn't sound very egotistical, but myself, to be honest. I feel like this year I learned so much about myself, and I just learned how to be more gentle with myself. I feel like in a lot of past years, I was very, very harsh on myself. I wanted myself to be perfect. And this year, I learned how to talk to myself like I would talk to someone I really love. So I'm very thankful to, the journey it took me to understand myself better.
That's three very important points, especially the second point you made. You meeting your boyfriend.
Honestly,
Okay.
my boyfriend is a big reason why I learned how to talk to myself better. Because I think sometimes when I watch you, how you carry yourself, it makes me think, okay, like it's just really inspiring, because it makes me think like, okay, that's someone I do want to be like in certain aspects.
Tell me more.
No, you're very patient, and you're very non-judgmental of people, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Very non-judgmental.
Which is sad.
And I have never met someone who's non-judgmental.
Yeah.
Like, it's very nice. I feel like the energy you surround yourself with impacts you a lot, and you're very non-judgmental. You never really talk bad about people. You always take people at face value, and you always understand that a person has a lot of components, and you never let it like get to you. Nothing gets to you. You're just very focused on what you want and you need, and you don't let things get to you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, baby. I appreciate the compliment. But tell me more.
Okay, so
kidding.
that being said, like, obviously, even though you're close to perfect, what are some 3 things you're working on for 2021? Your New Year's resolutions.
2021. I don't like to think of New Year resolutions under pressure, because usually I don't even have New Year resolutions. Let's see. So far, knock on wood, I have not caught Corona, the virus. So I kind of want to go with that path. I do not want to catch Corona. Can that be a New Year resolution?
That's a great New Year's resolution.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not trying to catch that.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, I want to grow as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I want to grow financially. I want to grow intellectually.
How do you plan on doing that?
I want to acquire more knowledge. I'm always hungry for knowledge. You know that. Like right now, for instance, I'm trying to learn Spanish, and I've been very, very religious about learning it.
Very, I agree.
Seriously.
I can attest to that.
I wake up. It takes discipline to wake up at 6 a.m. while in bed, playing Duolingo. I recommend that, by the way. It's much better than Rosetta Stone. So, yeah, that alone, I want to be able to expand on that. I want to learn a language. And also want to expand my knowledge when it comes to business and finance.
Mm-hmm.
Third, sort of continue in what I've been doing as far as keeping my health up to date, continue to stay in shape, eat healthy. I think I could work a little bit harder when it comes to eating healthier. But also I have to point this out, I have to eat and incorporate more fiber into my diet.
Yeah,
Since
you
I
do.
tend to get backed up, So I think that's actually
That's
my
a
biggest New
great-
resolution. Let's backtrack. Second to coronavirus, not catching coronavirus, I want to increase my fiber intake so I don't fucking get constipated.
Great. That's a great
Isn't it?
resolution, please. Because I want to see that run every day.
Yes.
He's in such a better mood when he takes a shit.
Yeah, I'm like a little puppy or a
TMI,
cat.
this podcast we should be called during poopers, not during accents.
I'm like a little puppy. After they
You
take a
are,
shit,
like-
they run around the house like they're so happy. You don't know that?
Yeah, I do know that.
That's how I am.
Yeah, I know.
What's wrong with that?
It's cute.
I dance. I
You were dancing
sing.
today, yeah.
I do all kinds of shit when I shit. Okay, let's not talk about shit. We already had a whole podcast dedicated to constipation.
Check it out, swipe up.
Yeah, if you haven't watched that, it's a funny episode. That was our second podcast.
It's our
Check it
first
out.
one. The
Was
one
that
we
first
were
one?
at Christmas.
Yeah, it's called Shitmas
Holiday Shit Special.
Holiday Shit Special. Check it out. It's pretty funny. Anyway, yeah. So, what is your 3 New Year resolutions? Do you believe in New Year resolutions?
I do believe in New Year's resolutions. I hear a lot of people saying, you don't have to wait till New Year's to have a New Year's resolution. And I fully agree with that. If in the middle of the summer you're like, you know what, I want to get in better shape, I want to work on my Spanish, blah, 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 then I 100% agree with that. But, stop moving.
My OCD is kicking in
You
all of a
need to
sudden.
pay attention.
Okay,
to
I'm
me.
sorry. Go ahead.
You don't have to wait till New Year's to make a New Year's resolution. But there is absolutely nothing wrong with waiting for New Year's to have an additional reason to reassess your life goals. And I actually really hate when successful people say stuff like that, because any company that exists in the planet has annual goals. Every company, every year, they're like, okay, these are our plans for the year. Yeah, you have a long-term plan, but every year you have to reassess. My New Year's resolutions are usually very similar to things I was working on in the previous year, but I want to work on them even more in the year,
Such as?
And it is a proven thing that if you do write down your goals and make them specific, that you're a lot more likely to achieve them for 2 reasons. One reason is you yourself have made that commitment to yourself versus you're just saying like, yeah, I might want to do this. 2 is if you're like me, you believe in the law of attraction and all that cuckoo stuff. I believe that writing down your goals and constantly repeating them to yourself and believing that you deserve to have them, you're more likely to actually achieve them because you're attracting that good energy to yourself. And that's physics. It's not like some spiritual thing. It's actual physics. So
That's a whole topic.
right. We'll talk about that
By
in
itself.
another thing. But for today, the funny thing is I actually haven't thought about my New Year's resolutions. I'm about to make them up right now.
Wow.
I think
After that little spiel.
my biggest New Year's resolution is I want to meditate more. Last year, I think, was my most consistent year that I meditated in. and I really see results for myself personally. I get less anxious, I get more patient, I get less hard on myself, I compare myself less to other people, I'm more in the moment. So I think it helps me a lot more. So my goal is to do that a lot more, 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes at night.
That's an hour.
It sounds like a lot, but I'm starting to notice that that's really how long it takes for you to get really into it. My second New Year's resolution is to hike more. That was a resolution that I had last year.
I feel like you stole all my good new resolutions. I gave like increasing my fiber intake, and I wanted to talk about hiking more. So that was your second. What's your third?
My third one is to work more on like being more grateful in my life. I feel happy actually with my life right now, but I want to work more on making myself be grateful for what I have rather than what I don't have.
And that is a big problem among a very large population.
Mm-hmm.
And I can elaborate on that further, just a quick elaboration if you allow me.
Of course.
And not interrupt me.
Can you stop saying that? Because I need to cut that out so many times.
Which one?
Not to interrupt me.
Yes. We should leave it so they know what I'm going through.
They already know.
No, that's true. What I was saying was, people tend to not appreciate things that they have.
It's 100%.
Instead, they beat themselves up for things that they don't have.
And you know why? Like, the biggest example is the second you get something, you automatically are like, what's the next level? Like, I hear it with my friend. You're constantly thinking about the future. The thing is, the joke's on you because the future is not based on you.
Right.
Like, if you want to achieve something, focus on the very, very end goal, not the in and outs of exactly how it's gonna happen. Like,
Right.
because you never know what the best thing for you is going to end up being. And that's how people, they take things for granted so much that they only focus on things going exactly the way they imagine it in their head.
And when they skew away from their imagination, that's when they panic. And when you panic, then you think you're wrong and you do things to correct it and you overdo it. And when you overdo it, that's when it becomes problematic, because that's when you get in trouble. Anyway, let's
Anyways,
did you tell me your third New Year's resolution?
yeah, I told you. But you know what my fourth New Year's resolution is? To eat this cake.
Oh shit.
I got this cake
Oh
because
shit.
I wanted to be healthier in the New Year's. And that doesn't mean I've been healthy in the year before, but I always fall off track a little bit to give myself a little break, which is completely fine. You're
Hey,
not supposed to be.
You don't have to explain. They
It's okay.
understand.
I wish I could show them.
You can show them.
I don't know how to. Oh, we have to open it fully.
Look, I got you.
Here, like this. Whoa. Can I
So,
hold this?
This is my
Look.
cake. What is in it? So you got strawberries,
It's raspberries.
raspberry, chocolate on top.
Oh my gosh. Let's try it. I fucking love chocolate cake. I fucking love chocolate.
Listen, I think you should take it easy because it's gonna conflict with your New Year resolution. So you should take
It's
it
not
easy.
the New Year's yet.
What do you mean? You should get it like a head start.
I don't
And
do
just
that.
leave like let me finish the cake.
No.
Or have most of it.
Let's try it. I said before I even tried it.
Mm.
So this cake is from a place called Extraordinary Desserts. which is supposed to be a very good place in San Diego. I personally
good.
don't trust
Happy
a
New
lot of
Year's, babe.
people here with their choices, but this is very good. It's very light. I expected it to be a lot heavier. It's really good. Wow.
Anyway,
What is your New Year's resolution?
yeah, let us know what's your new resolution, and I really, really hope that 2021 is going to be a much better year.